Speaker to call to the Honourable the Leader of the Opposition.
Yeah.
Prime Minister, there are reports that at least 34 passports have recently been issued under this government to facilitate the return of individuals who left Australia to join ISIS. Can the PM confirm that none of his ministers, nor any member of staff, made representations to any relevant departments or agencies to support or expedite the issuing of Australian passports to ISIS sympathisers in Syria?
Yeah. Call to the Honourable the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. They're Australian citizens. They now have an entitlement, a right to come back to our country. There's no silver bullet. Not my words, the words of that soft person, Peter Dutton. He used to sit on that side of the chamber. We'll work with those people, given they're Australian citizens and they have the right to come back. If people are Australian citizens, they have a right to return, and I need to deal with the realities of the way in which our laws and our constitution work. There's good reason as to why we don't want media attention to some individual cases.
Order.
I don't want cameras parked out in the front of schools or people being scrutinised as they're going into a mosque. Again, guess who? Peter Dutton. Peter Dutton.
Order. Members on my right. Members on my right will cease interjecting immediately. Order. No, the manager is entitled to raise his point of order, and he will do so in silence.
Thanks, Speaker. And it goes to section 104 on relevance. It might be the
Order. Order.
It might be the Prime Minister's birthday today, but that doesn't mean he should get leeway not to answer a direct question about whether any of his ministers made directions to have these passports issued.
The Prime Minister was the manager. Order. The manager is correct. The Prime Minister was asked a question about his government and any ministers involved with these decisions. He has had a minute explaining the background to the question, and I'll ask him now to return to the question.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. What I'm doing is explaining the law as provided by those opposite, the laws in which this government is operating, in which those opposite put in place when they were in government. And we were asked about, I'm talking about the law.
Leader of the Nationals. Order. The Leader of the Nationals will cease interjecting.
We don't have to just include Peter Dutton, because people come and go from the front bench over there. People come and go. But one of them who's back is the member for Barara. And this is what he had to say. Although many of these people are of counter-terrorism interest, under Article 12.4 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, it is their right as Australian citizens to return to Australia.
The manager on a further point of order.
Speaker, you asked that the Prime Minister bring himself directly relevant to the question. The question was directly relevant as to ministerial involvement, and he is not coming back to that part of the question.
The Prime Minister needs to be directly relevant to the question. If he has some quotes, and I'm not sure if he's still reading from the same quote, but if he's reading and he's entitled to answer the question as long as he's being directly relevant. He can't talk about any other topics, but I'm just going to listen carefully. He's had some time now and he was asked a specific question regarding his government's involvement, but he's answering the question. I can't give a yes, no answer as much as you would like that, but that's not allowed under the standing orders. I don't have that direction. So the Prime Minister will continue.
What I'm doing is explaining what they know to be the case, which is that we're operating under the law. Under the law.
Order.
Under the law. Indeed, the member for Barara went on to say the proposed temporary exclusion order scheme doesn't arbitrarily deprive these people of the right to abode.
Member for Barker.
Instead, it necessarily gives the government an effective means to monitor and regulate the return of these fighters. Mr Speaker, We are not repatriating these people.
Order.
We have made it clear.
Member for Fisher.
A non-government organisation took us to court demanding that we do that. We opposed that court action. We won the court decision, and those opposite know that this is the case. The hypocrisy on this is extraordinary, given that 40 people came home on their watch, including not partners or relatives, including ISIS fighters.